fellow Americans, I'm Bobby Jordan, and this is Life Lessons with the legend, Bobby Lee Jordan. We're recording tonight, and I'm alive, in the Shanty Road University studios. I plan to do several short videos that will, I hope, help you to understand how I became who I am, why I am the way I am. I've got the nickname at the last couple of years of being the legend, and I kind of like that. It kind of goes with Bobby Lee Jordan, Bobby Legend Jordan, so it makes a little bit of sense if you know me. I wanted to try to share a couple of life lessons with my friends, my family, people all over the world really. Some things I have learned. And it came by experience, a lot of things that I've learned. I'm going to start off with this first thing that I've had on my mind for a long time. I've told this to a very few people in my life, but this goes back 50 years. I was born and raised in Kannapolis, North Carolina. A great place to live, to grow up in. Good neighborhood, great kids in the neighborhood, great people I went to school with. And then in 1972, I don't know if it was a wise decision or not, but I joined the Army. My best friend and I, Kyle Stafford, my dear friend and brother, I call him my twin brother, went in together on the buddy plan. We went through basic training together, and that was a good experience. But sometime later, I found myself in Korea. And it was okay. It wasn't anything too awful bad. It wasn't anything too awful good. You're a million miles from home. You start getting lonely. You start getting homesick. But you're really soldiering. I was in the infantry. We called ourselves a straight leg infantry because we weren't airborne. We're not, what do they call it? Armor infantry, mechanized infantry. That's what the term was. We weren't mechanized infantry. We were straight leg infantry. That means we walked pretty much wherever we went. Well, it happened that one night we were camped out in the little pup tents. And my partner in the tent this particular night was a Korean soldier. We had Koreans, and if any of y'all were in Korea, you know that all the units had Korean soldiers from the ROK Army, Republic of Korean Army, assigned to us. And we called them KATUSA. It was a Korean augmentation to the United States Army. Well, we put our tent up that night in a dried riverbed of all places. If it had rained hard that night, we'd have been washed away. And I probably wouldn't be sitting here telling you this story. But anyway, this Korean soldier and I get in the tent, and he spoke nearly zero English. And I spoke less Korean. So I was a little frustrated that we had this communication problem. It was cold. We were laying in this riverbed. I was feeling a little homesick, and I got to thinking to myself, how in this world did I find myself in this place? I thought about the fact that back home in Kannapolis, over in Jackson Park, I had a really good soft bed. Good pillows, good quilts that my mama had made, good cover. We had heat and air conditioning, even in those days, 1973, 74, which I'm not sure which year it was. And I thought to myself, how in this world did I get here? I got to trying to think about that thing. And I was feeling, the more I thought about it, the worse I felt, and the more disgusted I was with myself that I put myself in that situation. And then it occurred to me, from my upbringing, growing up in a church in Kannapolis. This came to me, I didn't know quite where it was at, but it came to me, in all things, be content. And I thought about that. In all things, be content. What does that mean? And I remembered that I didn't know it was the Apostle Paul. I didn't know where it was at. I do know now it was in Philippians. I believe it's chapter 4. He said, you know, it didn't matter if he was in jail or whether he was free, whether he was hungry or whether he was full. It didn't matter what the circumstances were. He had peace. He was content. And so I thought to myself, you know what, that makes great sense. Why am I fretting about something, the situation that I really can't change? I'm here. It ain't like I can get up and walk home or get on a bus and go home. I'm here. So what I need to do is make the best of the situation. And so all through life, since that time, that was in 73 or 74, I've kind of had that attitude about wherever I'm at. I've had a lot of jobs in my life, and some of them weren't very good jobs. Some of them were, I'd ask myself, what was I thinking? How did I get to this point in my life? Just different situations that come up. I'm thinking, what in the world happened? How did I get here? And I've learned to wherever I am, whatever situation I'm in, be it good or bad, or whether I'm happy or sad. And I've not always had a perfect life, by no means. I'm human, and I know that you older adults have experienced this. You've had good times and bad times. Like James Taylor said, Lord, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. But we come through it. We come through. You keep coming through. You keep plugging away. Before I get on to too many other subjects that I did have in mind I wanted to bring up, I'm going to try to save them and keep these short. So, because I know your attention span is pretty short, especially in the day and age we live in where everything is Instagram and microwave and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to leave you with this thought tonight. No matter what circumstance you find yourself in, and this is true, it can always be worse. So keep your head up, keep your chin up, keep looking forward. And any questions? No questions good. Until I see you again, y'all act like you got some sense.